How can we do it successfully?
Here are 12 tips under 4 headings.
How to use your 30 seconds for this specific block.
First, scan the options. Notice that A and B are highly specific to certain sections, while C is the catch-all for rules that never change. Then, track the keywords. Look at questions 3 to 6. They mention the core 3-step format steps. Predict if Mujahid will describe these as general rules, C, or section-specific rules.
Now listen to a clear step-by-step dialogue between Mujahid and Maddie explaining exactly how the 40-question matching mock test is structured and answer questions 1 to 6.
Now listen to the final wrap-up session and answer questions 36 to 40.
Audience member 1. I am Hafsa. Haseen. This is all so inspiring, but what about the actual exam day? How to eliminate paralyzing anxiety when walking into the formal test center is a massive hurdle for most of us. The atmosphere alone makes my heart race.
I completely understand, but you must trick your brain by approaching the physical test environment with absolute psychological neutrality. When I walked into the test hall, I told myself it wasn't a life-altering exam. I treated it exactly like just another comfortable morning session back in the SILAH classroom under Mr. Mujahid's watchful eye. Neutralize the room's power.
You now have half a minute to check your answers. IELTS Listening Module.
Matching questions require you to connect a list of items from the audio, like names, places, or dates, to a fixed set of options on your question paper.
How can we do it successfully?
Here are 12 tips under 4 headings.
1. Master the visual layout first.
First tip. Understand the target. The numbered questions, 1, 2, 3, follow the exact chronological order of the audio. Second tip. Scan the lettered options, the options A, B, C. Do not follow the audio order and will be scrambled. Third tip. Expect option reuse. Check if the instructions state you may use any letter more than once.
2. Prepare for aggressive paraphrasing.
First tip. Do not listen for exact words. Lettered options are almost always rephrased in the audio script. Second tip. Brainstorm synonyms. If an option says cheap, listen for low cost, budget, reduced, or affordable. Third tip. Underline core concepts. Highlight the defining difference between each lettered option before the audio starts.
3. Track the discussion fluidly.
First tip. Keep eyes on the numbers. Use your pen to point at the numbered questions to keep your place in the test. Second tip. Listen for transitions. Speakers use names or location shifts to signal they are moving to the next question. Third tip. Write down letters quickly. Do not write out full words. Write only the corresponding option letter, A, B, or C.
4. Bypass common audio traps.
First tip. Watch out for absolute rejection. A speaker might mention option A, only to say, actually, that won't work. Second tip. Identify agreement and disagreement. In conversations, listen to how the second speaker reacts to an idea. Third tip. Ignore background noise. Focus strictly on the final decision or conclusion made by the speakers.
Now, let's learn through practice what the 40-question matching mock test is and how it is attempted.
Part 1 of 7. Test structure and formatting.
Instructions.
1. You have 30 seconds to look at questions 1 to 6 before the audio begins.
How to use your 30 seconds for this specific block.
First, scan the options. Notice that A and B are highly specific to certain sections, while C is the catch-all for rules that never change. Then, track the keywords. Look at questions 3 to 6. They mention the core 3-step format steps. Predict if Mujahid will describe these as general rules, C, or section-specific rules. 2. Match each component of the test structure with the correct operational rule, A, B, or C, explained by Mujahid in the dialogue. 3. Write the correct letter A, B, or C next to each question.
Your 30 seconds to review questions 1 to 6 begin now, before the audio starts.
Options.
Questions.
Now listen to a clear step-by-step dialogue between Mujahid and Maddie explaining exactly how the 40-question matching mock test is structured and answer questions 1 to 6.
Mujahid, I am looking at this massive 40-question matching practice test, and honestly, it looks a bit overwhelming. How exactly am I supposed to attempt this without getting lost?
Don't worry, Maddie. It looks huge because it is a full-length test, but you will never face all 40 questions at once. The test is cleanly divided into 7 distinct sections, and each section uses a strict 3-step format.
Okay, that sounds better. How are the questions split across those 7 sections?
Right, so sections 1 to 5 are broken down into smaller blocks containing anywhere from 3 to 6 questions. Then, sections 6 and 7 are split into slightly shorter blocks of 3 to 5 questions. Crucially, each individual block is based on its own specific audio recording. You handle them one game at a time.
Ah, I see. So it's broken into bite-sized pieces. Walk me through exactly what happens when a new section starts. What is step 1?
Step 1 is your preparation phase. Before any audio track plays, you will get exactly 30 seconds of silence. During this half-minute, you need to look closely at the specific block of questions on your sheet, underline keywords, and brainstorm synonyms for the choices.
Got it. Use the silence to prepare. What happens when those 30 seconds are up?
That triggers step 2, the listening phase. The audio recording will start playing, and the exact same set of questions will remain active on your screen. You must listen actively and lock in your answers in real time while that audio is running. The speaker will only talk once, so you have to attempt the questions right then and there.
Understood. Listen and answer immediately on the screen. What happens the moment the speaker finishes talking?
That leads to step 3, the review family. The audio stops and you are given half a minute to check your answers. You can look over what you wrote, check for any silly mistakes, or mentally prepare for the next part.
And then the whole cycle resets?
Exactly. This exact 3-step pattern, 30 seconds to look, listening to the audio to answer, and half a minute to check, repeats sequentially for all 7 sections until you hit all 40 questions.
Wow. Breaking it down into those 3 phases makes it sound so much more manageable. Thanks, Mujahid.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 2 of 7. Practical application and exam prep.
Instructions.
You have 30 seconds to look at questions 7 to 12 before the audio begins.
Now listen to the dialogue between Mujahid and Maddie and answer questions 7 to 12. Now that you know the basic structure, Maddie, let's talk about what you should actually be doing during each of those 3 phases.
Yes, please. Let's start with phase 1, the 30-second preparation phase. What is my priority? the moment the silence begins.
Your absolute first task is to grab your pencil and start highlighting key terms right on the question sheet. You want to isolate the core words in the question stems so your eyes can track them easily.
That makes sense. Should I just wait after highlighting?
Definitely not. In those same 30 seconds, you need to look at your lettered choices and start brainstorming synonyms for the available options. The audio will use different words than what is written on the screen, so you need to anticipate those changes early.
Got it. Then the clock hits 0, phase 2 kicks in, and the audio starts playing. What happens during this active listening phase?
This is where total focus is required. You must keep your eyes on the screen and focus on locking in your choices on the screen in real time. Do not hesitate or stall. The moment you hear the answer, select it.
What if the speaker is talking too fast or trying to trick me?
You have to stay grounded by processing audio tracking signals as the speaker talks once. Listen for transition words like however, on the other hand, or name changes. These signals tell you exactly when the speaker is moving from one question to the next.
Okay, so I follow the signals and lock in my answers. Then the audio stops, and phase 3 begins the half-minute review. Is this just for resting?
No, you can't relax just yet. Use the start of this final half minute for verifying your chosen letters to eliminate silly mistakes. Check that you didn't accidentally misread a letter or write down the wrong option code.
And what should I do with the remaining seconds of that review phase?
Use the final seconds for mental preparation for the upcoming part of the test. Take a deep breath, completely clear your mind of the old questions, and get ready to repeat the entire cycle for the next block. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 3 of 7. Advanced Strategic Mindsets.
Instructions.
You have 30 seconds to look at questions 13 to 18 before the audio begins.
Wow, I feel much more organized now. But honestly, Mujahid, I sometimes see candidates who know the strategies but still end up with a low band score. Why does that happen?
It usually comes down to their mindset under pressure, Maddie. For instance, sitting idly and waiting passively during the initial pre-listening silence is a guaranteed way to cause a low band score of 4.0 to 5.0. If you don't use that silence to prepare, the audio will overwhelm you immediately.
That makes sense. What about when you actually miss an answer while listening? That completely derails me sometimes.
That is a classic trap. Low-scoring candidates panic and commit the mistake of attempting to catch up on a missed block during the upcoming preparation phase. By looking backward, they ruin their preparation for the next set of questions, causing a domino effect of errors.
So, what does a high-achieving candidate do instead?
A band 7.5 to 9.0 candidate practices forgetting a missed question immediately to focus fully on the incoming audio cue. If you miss it, it's gone. You must let it go instantly to protect the remaining points.
Okay, look forward, not backward. What other habits separate the top scorers from the rest?
High-scoring candidates excel at anticipating aggressive paraphrasing by actively guessing synonyms beforehand. They don't wait to react to the audio. They actively predict what they are about to hear. Furthermore, they practice mentally dropping a finished block completely the moment the review phase begins. They don't linger on past choices. Their minds are always moving forward.
What about candidates who land right in the middle, like a mediocre band 5.5 to 6.5? What traps do they fall into?
They usually have decent listening skills, but poor exam execution. A major mistake they make is writing down full target words on the sheet, instead of just the corresponding option letter. Wasting time writing out full words on your scratch pad, instead of just jotting down A, B, or C, causes you to fall behind the pace of the recording. It's a mediocre habit that costs easy points.
Got it. So keep it fast, use shorthand, and always stay focused on the incoming audio.
Exactly, Maddie. Master that momentum and you'll easily secure a top band score.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 4 of 7. Institutional Mentorship and Aspirant Commitment.
Instructions.
You have 30 seconds to look at questions 19 to 24 before the audio begins.
Now, listen to the dialogue between Maddie and Haseen and answer questions 19 to 24.
Maddie, I just saw the official score report. A perfect Band 9 in IELTS Listening? That is absolutely incredible. Please, you have to tell me, what is the secret behind this massive success?
Honestly, Haseen, the secret isn't just a solo trick. My success is entirely rooted in the incredible IELTS class environment I experienced at SILAH under the masterful guidance of Mr. Mujahid.
Really? Is the environment there that different from studying on your own with books?
Night and day, Haseen. For example, real-time peer simulations in the active classroom environment forced me to adapt to exam pressures. Combined with the constant strategic course corrections by Mr. Mujahid, who spotted my weaknesses instantly, my score was pushed straight to perfection. Another major factor was eliminating passive listening habits through intensive practice formats in the lab. That is exactly what allowed me to secure that flawless Band 9.
Wow, listening to you talk about this is incredibly inspiring. The infectious high-energy motivation built into the SILAH culture makes me want to experience it for myself. I need to change my study habits completely.
It really changes your entire perspective on preparation.
That settles it. I am not going to waste any more time. This conversation has completely convinced me to join the upcoming session immediately without any further delay. I am enrolling at SILAH at my earliest opportunity.
That is a fantastic decision, Haseen. But remember, just sitting in the room isn't enough. You have to change how you approach the lessons.
Absolutely. I understand that committing to a state of total, unwavering classroom devotion is non-negotiable if I want to match your success. I will enter that room with a clear willingness to involve oneself to the absolute maximum in every drill. I will participate in every single activity to push my skills to the peak.
With that mindset and Mr. Mujahid's guidance, you are well on your way to your own Band 9. Welcome to the SILAH family.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 5 of 7. Communal Knowledge Banking and Linguistic Substitution.
Instructions.
You have 30 seconds to look at questions 25 to 30 before the audio begins.
Now listen to Mr. Hassin's auditorium speech and answer questions 25 to 30.
Good afternoon, everyone. I stand before you today in this auditorium not as an exceptional genius, but as someone who successfully unlocked a perfect 9-band score across all modules of the IELTS exam. I know many of you are currently drowning in a sea of heavy prep books, trying to cram massive, exhausting 50 or 60-word lists. Let me tell you a secret. At SILAH, we completely shattered that exhausting routine. Completely eliminating textbook reliance and rote memorization was our very first step towards success. Instead of treating English as a brand new mountain to climb, Dr. Rafi Mujahid showed us how to unlock our hidden talent. We began utilizing prior English language knowledge acquired from nursery to graduation, since it has been a compulsory subject throughout our entire academic lives. Dr. Rafi's philosophy is beautifully simple. IELTS aspirants do not need to learn a new world. They are simply practicing the complete linguistic replacement of regional dialects like Urdu or Punjabi with English while keeping their thoughts exactly the same. You do not need to change your lifestyle or discard what you enjoy. If you love entertainment, Dr. Rafi's golden rule is to keep watching it but begin transitioning regular movie, drama, and talk show consumption entirely into English. This single shift seamlessly acts across all 4 test modules. In our active classroom sessions at SILAH, we never sat silently. By utilizing collective peer memory banking during interactive classroom discussions, every student naturally updated their skills by sharing what they already knew. My friends, please stop fearing this exam. By applying this exact immersive environment, you are effectively reconceptualizing the test framework from a monumental obstacle to a piece of cake. It is not a Mount Everest to climb. It is an entirely achievable goal if you just change your habits.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 6 of 7. Strategic time allocation and routines.
Instructions.
You have 30 seconds to look at questions 31 to 35 before the audio begins.
Now listen to the audience question and answer session and answer questions 31 to 35.
Audience member 1. My name's Mary. Hassin, thank you for your speech. But realistically, most of us work full-time. My biggest concern is how to balance intensive full-time employment with IELTS preparation when our schedules are already completely packed.
That is a very common concern. My answer is simple. Do not add extra study hours to your day. Instead, I survived by substituting leisure time seamlessly without adding extra study hours. Your commute time, your lunch break, and your winding down time in the evening are all areas where you simply flip the language switch to English.
Audience member 2. I'm Mujahid. But what about actual exam mechanics? You can't just watch movies to learn how to solve a matching block. What was the exact time of day dedicated strictly to exam strategy tracking?
Excellent question. For that, I kept a very rigid boundary, separating technical skill tracking from standard language immersion. Every single morning, from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m., my mind was fresh. I used that specific window strictly for analyzing test layout patterns and timing rules.
Audience member 3. My name is Kainat. You mentioned no word lists, but how did you handle how to fit vocabulary acquisition into a busy lifestyle without word lists?
It comes down to consistency. I prioritized consistent, everyday micro-habits over long cram sessions. Instead of memorizing 50 words on a Sunday, I learned exactly 2 or 3 expressions every single day from the context of whatever I was listening to or reading at that moment.
Audience member 4, I am Sam. What about full-length practice? Can you share the method for managing mock test analysis without feeling overwhelmed by your errors?
I treated mock analysis as a technical exercise. I deliberately set a boundary, separating technical skill tracking from standard language immersion. I would do a short block, stop the tape, and look purely at why I missed an audio cue, treating it like a puzzle rather than a failure.
Audience member 5, my name's Alina. Finally, how to stay immersed in the language during regular weekend breaks when your brain naturally wants to switch back to your native language.
Your weekends are for rest, so keep resting. But do it by substituting leisure time seamlessly without adding extra study hours. If you play video games, change the audio settings to English. If you meet friends from SILAH, make a pact to speak only English over coffee. Keep it effortless.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Part 7 of 7. Final implementation and execution mindsets.
Instructions.
You have 30 seconds to look at questions 36 to 40 before the audio begins.
Now listen to the final wrap-up session and answer questions 36 to 40.
Audience member 1, I am Hafsa. Haseen. This is all so inspiring, but what about the actual exam day? How to eliminate paralyzing anxiety when walking into the formal test center is a massive hurdle for most of us. The atmosphere alone makes my heart race.
I completely understand, but you must trick your brain by approaching the physical test environment with absolute psychological neutrality. When I walked into the test hall, I told myself it wasn't a life-altering exam. I treated it exactly like just another comfortable morning session back in the SILAH classroom under Mr. Mujahid's watchful eye. Neutralize the room's power.
Audience member 2. My name is Zain. That is an excellent psychological trick. But what happens if disaster strikes? What is the best way to handle a situation where you completely miss an entire audio block and your screen is blank?
You must save the rest of your test by viewing mistakes as temporary structural adjustments, not fatal flaws. If you miss a block, it is a minor dent, not a total wreck. Forgive yourself instantly, adjust your focus, and move immediately to the next marker.
Audience member 3, I'm Wania. I struggle with stamina. Can you share advice on how to prevent mental exhaustion during the transition between different test modules when moving from listening to reading?
Stamina relies on letting your subconscious take over. You do this by trusting automated cognitive conditioning over active panic. If you have completed enough daily micro-habits and classroom drills, your brain already knows how to perform. Stop overthinking every transition and let your conditioning run the show.
Audience member 4. My name is Saqib. My biggest fear is the audio itself. What is the strategy for managing an unfamiliar international accent during a lecture without freezing up?
Again, Do not panic. This is a moment for trusting automated cognitive conditioning over active panic. Because you followed Dr. Rafi Mujahid's advice and spent weeks consuming standard English dramas and talk shows, your ear is already conditioned to global accents. Relax, stay calm, and let your natural language instincts decode the speaker's voice.
Audience member 5, I am Hania. Finally, how to maintain a steady pacing rhythm during the high-pressure final section when the academic vocabulary peaks and time is running out.
You close out the test by viewing mistakes as temporary structural adjustments, not fatal flaws. Section 4 is designed to stretch your limits. If a complex academic term throws you off balance, accept that it's just a temporary hurdle. Keep your rhythmic stride, focus on the very next blank, and cross the finish line smoothly.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
तुर गए यार दिलां दे जानी वतनू चुक मुहारा उजड़ी बस्ती यारो नजरी आवे कंड कीती जद यारा